Hey friends, are you a person with good taste who likes doing good things to good causes, but also likes video games? Of course you are. You're a great person with great taste in games and causes, and good podcasts. And is that a new outfit? Did you get a haircut? Damn, friend, you're looking good. Why don't you celebrate how good you're looking, how damn fly you're coming across here by going over to Humble Bundle and supporting some good causes while also supporting games at the same time. Humble Bundle is a great outlet where you can purchase video games, and the money that you purchase those games with goes over to good causes, whether it be charities, whether it be causes that are popular or need your attention at the time, or whether it be indie developers that might not have got their games out in other ways. Humble Bundle is a great way to support the video game industry, a great way to play new stuff that you might not have thought about, or just get your hands on the latest AAA thing. And also, if you use the link in the comments below, you'll be helping out the podcast as well. I don't know why you'd want to help out the podcast. We are a damn mess, but you can do. The option is there. Sup, nerds?
What's up? Thank you for that,
Hello.
Cam. And yeah, so Chessington, talking about before this podcast, we were talking about soft play areas. Chessington,
By which
it's
we
gone
mean
now.
the bit where you put children, not any. Well, that sounds even worse, actually. Chessington
has a soft play area with the slides and everything. It also has air cannons for the balls.
So does the one in Hull.
And
Oh
you
my
can-
god, it's amazing.
I remember going with my cousin when we were about 10 and just dealing havoc to every other kid that wandered into the enclosure.
I was going to say that would be me. I would just literally I would just pay the money. I'm going to stop there.
There was full-on war, is
Oh, dear.
what I'll say.
Speaking of full on war. Yeah, thank you. I know. Brilliant. Overwatch League is back!
Oh.
And it's been a doozy!
I was wondering where this was going.
Yeah,
You
he was like,
congratulated
"What?"
yourself for the
Yeah.
segue before you'd finished it. So it was-
Of course, because I knew how good it was.
Yeah, I like what NA has done with their production. It has increased by, I want to say, at least sixfold, maybe eightfold.
yeah, massively.
With the
It's
player
really impressive.
webcams and everything, the graphics package, you can get just wallpapers now if you like in between the games with the scorecards and everything. It's just beautiful.
Really, really lovely work. And the quality as well, generally, like very few technical hiccups, really, really clean quality games, tokens right on site. It's much more in sync as well. I noticed with the Steel series that like audio and video would go out of sync quite often, but it feels like that's been totally sorted. So yeah, really impressive work from them.
Did notice how there was subtle shade thrown at APAC there, though, Squiddy.
I mean, it's not. I mean,
I mean, it's because the Spitfires aren't in APAC anymore. It's just-
well, no, it's because their entire production team are based in NA. I'm fairly sure, and casters and everything. So they have to have it for the league because that's where 6 to 8 teams are based this season. 7?
11 or 12, isn't it? There's
What, in
20
APAC?
there's- Oh shit! Oh, sorry, I thought you meant in NA.
No, in
8
APAC,
teams,
I think it's
yeah.
like 8 or 7 teams.
There's 8 teams in APAC.
And 12 in NA.
Yeah, so they have to.
10 in NA and 2 EU.
Yeah, so they have
Well,
to
yeah,
do
but-
it,
Yeah.
but
We're NA, so.
it's the production isn't the same, and you have more. Any technical hiccups occur in the APAC games,
Yeah.
typically.
Although it's worth
That is
noting
true.
that we don't actually see the premiere version of that broadcast. Like what we get is a kind of after hours Asian Overwatch League addition to the NA games, but like over on the Bilibili streams or the live events that they're doing, it's an entirely different kind of production. So like we're not seeing it. So sorry.
I need to watch the Billy streams then.
Yeah, maybe you do. Get you some of that pink spark money.
To be fair to them, though, while they haven't got the same kind of graphics package and the production's like maybe an 8 as opposed to a 10, the casters for APAC have been on point. Like, Doa feels like he's not Mr. B. I love ZP and Achilles anyway. I've been dying for Jaws to be back on my television. And Vicky Kitty is just incredible. I'm so happy she's here.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing good.
Yeah, I also really like that this is where they're putting some of the new talent and letting them kind of get their grounding and feel for the Overwatch League before maybe changing the talent round again next year. Like, I'd love to see Vicky or Hurix or Leg Day or whoever else in the Overwatch League. But I really like the idea that, like, this is almost a step up to the prime time NA 8 o'clock broadcasts, and there's even more of a step of the two in between for the talent. Also, like, the producers for the APAC region are doing such a good job, because whilst there are some technical hitches, they have instant, like, quick solutions and fixes and plan Bs already in place. They're doing such a good job of being on top of that.
I love how we've thrown them in as well, and the games have not been what anybody expected.
I mean,
Who
that's kind of...
expected Chengdu going 3-0 on this season? Or arguably 4-0, hopefully, from tomorrow's games. Like, what same person, apart from Chengdu's #1 fan, would have seen it, that would have actually predicted it? I mean, where did Gaga come from?
Chinese contenders, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Was he on Team CC?
I was going to say, it's like everyone went, here's the script to the Overwatch League, and this is what's going to happen this season. And Chengdu have gone...
They're the diva actor that they haven't read it, or...
They've read it and gone, nah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chengdu just threw it in the bin.
Yeah, so he was on Team CC last year, who had the Asian Chinese equivalent of the Hurricane run. Like, they just went first, second, first, second, first,
And
the whole
then-
way around.
And then for in NA and stuff, everyone that went by Scrimbucks so far this season have also gone.
I mean, Scrimbucks are useless anyway. I don't
Well-
trust the Scrimbucks.
I mean,
they're pretty honest so far. Like, Houston are at the top. EU is struggling. Glads are all over the place. Dallas
be
all
fair,
over the
though,
place.
No,
like, it's
Paris slapped, but it wasn't against Vancouver. But people want the
yeah, but-
breadsticks. We're still
okay.
yet to get breadsticks
But-
from a
Paris-
Vancouver game.
Paris slapped, yes, but they slapped in the toilet bowl, which is like...
The bread
there's-
bowl.
The bread bowl. There's definite backsplash from that slapping.
They're against Houston tonight. So
I was going to say the main issue is, though, especially for Spitfires in Paris, and it does look like it is going to be an issue until there's going to be some kind of solution. It's the fact that they are playing on at least a minimum of 130 ping.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Okay, so I don't want to rant about this too much, but like
Do it.
I found the games. So we're recording this on Saturday the 24th. Europe had their first games last night on the 23rd, and I found it so disheartening to see them struggling so much, because I can't think of reasons, including the ping, that they would. Like, the talent is definitely there for some of those players, and it's not like Europe, like, there's a common consensus of talking about Europe as like, oh, it's the bad region versus NA and APAC, but like, there's been so much talent come from Europe.
I was going to say
Everybody said that last
Europe
year,
is-
and then they were all bidding like mad for Shockwave, so it doesn't make sense that it would happen again.
I was going to say Europe is probably, after like Chinese and Korean like contenders and stuff, is probably the next region ahead of NA, because NA is just something else.
I think with Spitfire, that was more down to decision making on their game against Gladiators more than anything.
I think it's unfair to blame it on ping. It does. As a fan, you don't want to say it, but I reckon nerves. I reckon
I was
nerves
gonna
got
say-
to them.
Yeah.
You've got to think it's their first proper Owl. I know we had Steel Series, but that doesn't really count. It's the first proper Owl game, and fans can be rabid.
Yeah.
So the pressure that they coming off the Hurricane run as well, the pressure that they must be under is immense.
And
I'm not surprised if they're making mistakes.
I was going to say, it's not just going to be that as well. Don't forget, just a general consensus of just Spitfire in general is that after season 1, everyone has decided that unanimous. You know what? I'm not even going to attempt. said the word.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Unanimously.
Yeah, have decided that everyone is just going to hate on the Spitfire.
I don't
Apart
know.
from Reinforce. Yeah, they're back.
Yes, reinforce.
Oh, I should put it out. We're all Spitfire fans, and that's why we're talking about them so much. Oh yeah, you got the. I've got
Yeah.
mine.
Mine's actually in the wash. Actually,
Right
Do you have
here.
a jersey from every season?
No, I got.
Ah,
I got this.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've got my Hangar
Link
What
did
the
the,
9 one
printing,
behind me.
So
but-
shout out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think every team thinks they're hated. Like, I think every group of fans think, oh, people just love to hate my team. Like,
Apart from Chengdu.
yeah,
But
that's true.
That could be different in China.
I was going to
Everyone
say,
could be looking.
I
I think from a Western perspective, everyone adores Chengdu. Maybe
Yeah.
inside China, they go fucking Chengdu.
but then
What-
also, like,
what
if they
bastards.
do just keep dominating, they'll become the villains. Like, in exactly
Oh,
the
yeah.
same way that San Fran did and the same way that Shanghai kind of did. Like, I guess this storyline changes a
I
lot,
was gonna
but
say,
yeah.
I do feel bad for Shanghai because everyone first season was like, win, and everyone's like, lose.
Yeah.
I still remember that game when they beat
The first win.
Boston. Oh my god! Like
I remember the scenes of people crying in the arena and having to explain it to people. Like, no, it is just a video game, but this is really big. Like,
how many games did they lose? Was it 41 games in a
41
row?
or 42.
Yeah, yeah, because they lost every game.
They
in the
lost a
first
40
season.
of season 1,
Because
and then
It was also
That's sad.
Boston was playing a slightly was missing fusions that week because of his contract mix-up.
contract
Oh,
issues because he was on the two-way with the Uprising Academy.
yeah.
He couldn't play.
Yeah,
And since then,
he could play
Shanghai
2
are
games
now
a
dominant.
stage, but
I refuse to believe that any team that has Flatter as the face of it can be considered a villain.
Flatter is meta.
Flatter is matter. I'm aggressively going after sponsorship from Fentimans, by the way.
I know
so-
it doesn't even like.
I know the blur filter's really fucking me here, but
Wait, you've got that. I've got a. Hang on, let me just. Some bulk powders.
But
nice.
question here: so far, out of everyone that we have seen play, which player has impressed you most?
From Spitfire or generally?
Generally,
Ooh.
I've asked this question. I don't even have an answer myself.
I've got
Oh, Happy.
two. Happy was one of mine as
Ooh,
well.
happy to shout.
My other was Gaga.
Yeah.
See,
I think look at it from what's your player from the West region and player from the East region. Cause you can't pair them at the moment.
oh, I was gonna say for me at the moment, like in the East, is Choi, the DPS for Charge, because I feel like he's gonna have either he's gonna get to the point where he's gonna like stand out of everyone from the Charge, and
Kinda
he's
like
got
Glister
he's
did
gonna
last
be
season?
like he's gonna be a bit like Glister. He's gonna be that diamond in the rough, where either he's gonna be picked up by a bigger team next year, or Charge are gonna reshape a little bit for next year, and they're gonna put their focus onto him, because some of these like 3v1 plays against what team was it? Where it was like
Was it
basically
Shanghai?
free. Was it Shanghai? Yeah, it was Shanghai, wasn't it? When he was basically 3v1ing them on Blizzard World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think, for me, in the West, Dante has absolutely started performing this year. Like, everyone knew this guy was a top quality DPS player, but I don't think everyone expects him to be slapping in the same way he is. And probably is helped a lot by Happy having a very strong DPS player alongside them. Yeah, Happy is deep. Yeah, the question was that Happy's DPS, isn't it?
No,
yeah, of course.
You are right.
Yeah, I think allows Dante to go for those riskier plays rather than having to be like that constant damage dealer, he's able to go for these wacky tracer pulse bombs, which are working. And I think that's kind of what's helped Houston get to where they are currently. And maybe when this goes out in the finals of whatever the May Melee is called, the May Melee.
My Eastern pick is a weird one, but go with me on this, and it's Mano, because I feel like Mano in the NYXL, bit tedious, bit not really showing up. Mano on Philly, fucking impressive, really impressive.
Well. To be fair to you, there when I say we, because I presume we all watched it, but when I was watching the game this morning, Mano's name kept coming up over and over and over again, and was the rock of that team today. So while it might not be as obvious as the likes of like in NA Happy who just pops off, you are 100% on the money with that one.
I kind of like the idea that Philly is where people go to save their career. Like Sado came back from the dead. Hotbar has come back from New York and is dominating. Toby's doing great. Mano.
Toby, yeah.
Oh god,
I'm missing
Toby.
Poco though.
Yeah.
I mean, this Philly team is absolutely stacked.
They're stacked, and this isn't even their main team. Like, this is not their final form yet.
I think...
Oh my god, you said that and all I got in my head was, can you remember, I've forgotten what they were called now, from DBZ. Is it Summit Squad, where they all do the poses and sing a song?
Do you mean Squirtle Squad?
Squirtle Squad?
I was going to say, that's the first thing that came to my head was Squad.
I've also never watched Dragon Ball. So.
Yeah, you've lost me.
No, I'll come back to it and I'll put a picture in the chat, but I just pictured that, but with Philly players.
I mean, I think Philly... this is a great question. Who of the Western Philly roster will get into the Eastern Philly team?
What, like who will make it through the visa problems?
Yeah, and then actually play. Like, who would you put in?
I
reckon all of them.
I reckon all of them. I reckon Poco definitely will. I think Poco is still an upgrade on Hotbar.
Oh, this is interesting actually now that you say it, because I don't like...
DPS I wouldn't change. Carpe.
Oh,
and
no,
Rascal.
I definitely put Shockwave in. A Tracer specialist? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
every day of the
especially
week.
at the minute.
Oh, I was going to say, if you're
like-
looking at current meta, yeah, you would put Shockwave in. You'd probably put Poco in because he can play
I agree with
Sigma
Poco.
and Diva to a ridiculous level.
But then, actually, I get the point of your question, because it's not just about now, is it? Like, if they get over Visa Hell in a week, okay, yeah, fair enough. You upgrade Poco, Astro, Shockwave. It's no problem. But if it's like 3 months, then you have a problem of like, is Hotbar like more synergistic now than Poco, and what happens there?
What's that be down?
Also,
Meta.
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a massive part as well.
But then also you've got the
think-
interesting question of like, what happens to these players the other side of when Philly do make that decision? Because like Hotbar and Toby definitely signed up to that team with an axe over their head, in the knowledge that like if the visa issue fixes up tomorrow, that's it. Then their latest owl chance is just out the window.
Well, this is
So
last chance alone.
Right, exactly.
Well-
So like, what kind of backup do they have in place, if any?
I think Hotbar's Zarya could be better than Poco's.
It is hard to say because Poco Zarya. I was going to say, especially when you see like Poco streaming stuff, Zarya is.
Let's have a look. Ah, yeah. That picture.
That's what I
never seen it.
pictured. It's the Ginyu Force. I had the name wrong. Well, I didn't have the name at all, to be honest, but yeah, that's what I pictured, but with like the Philly faces badly photoshopped over the top. It tickled me for a moment.
But yeah, I think Philly do have decisions to make whenever visa issues are changed, because some of these players that have been brought in arguably have done enough to keep their spot in.
I was going to say, because Toby's replacing Funny Astro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I quite like Toby.
Well, if anything, it gives them more choice, right? It can't be a bad thing.
I mean, yes, but then also like money.
Yeah,
not,
they're
not
spending
to put
a lot of money. Minimum for what? They've got 12 members, right?
Good
2,
question.
4, 6, 8. They've got 10,
They've got 10, so that's a minimum of
and they're not able to play Poco,
500,000.
Funny Astro, Shockwave, and EQO.
Wait, hold on. That's what? A million?
That's a minimum of 500,000 on wages.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very good point.
I was going to say you got to think
That's a lot of money.
EQO is probably quite highly rated as a flex DPS. Don't forget. So he's.
I'm gonna. Sorry to jump in. I'm gonna throw you in on the deep end here to think about a topic for a few minutes time. So I've been entering the lottery every week now for a while because like I'm an old man apparently, and that's what you do when you've got no financial stability. But like. I've been thinking about like if I won the crazy fucking hundreds of millions of money, I have like a planned out Overwatch League team. Like I have an idea of what location I would go for, what their name would be, what kind of things I would want to do. So
you got the 40 million buy-in.
Yeah,
or whatever it is
you got the 40 mil buy-in.
What's your team? And go for it. I like this.
So I make the Edinburgh Princes. Edinburgh because so I make the Edinburgh Princes and the Glasgow Merchants. The Glasgow Merchants are the academy team in Contenders, and the Edinburgh Princes are the top team. Princes named after Princes Street in Edinburgh, which is the main street and the high street. Glasgow Merchants named after Merchant City in Glasgow, which is like an area of the city. Scotland's my home, even though I don't sound it, so this is all important to me. I would get like a 7-8 person roster, and then I would spend the rest on infrastructure, so on coaches, on social media people. Squiddy, I would hire you as a community manager. I think you do a great job. I would do
job. Please win. I need a job.
Me and Kiwi are just going to be just like sat here on ChaosVoid like podcast in the future going, oh, this is fun.
No, that's not true. I'd hire Kiwi.
Yes!
I'll just be in a Google Meet by myself going, I have friends.
A Google Meet every few weeks like, hey guys, the Humble Bundle's really cool. You should probably go there.
I would like to see the league expand and have some African sides.
Ooh.
Tasty.
Because Overwatch itself is a very international game, and yet the teams are in arguably essentially four nations.
Yeah.
Counting EU as one is either Korea, China, or NA.
I do feel like Australia should have one as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see an Indian team as well.
Melbourne Midgeries. There we go.
The Sydney Drop Bears.
For me, it'd have to be something kangaroo related, right?
The Wallaby Wonders.
Oh! Like, team-wise, if I had to pick a location...
Wallaby Wonders with Adam. As like
just
Adam, just core player.
One player. I'm absolutely sick to death of everything in the UK revolving around London. Like, stop it. It needs to stop. There are other big cities in London. You're forgetting about the majority in London, except London.
Oh my god, it's in your brain. London is.
This is how annoyed I am at London. There are other big cities in the UK. Like, I want to see an Overwatch League team based in Sheffield. I do. And because we have the ice hockey team, the Sheffield Steelers, I would probably steal the name and have that for the Overwatch League team.
The Sheffield Shreddies.
There was an F1 team that was based in Sheffield.
The grandmas from the Shreddies adverts.
It's just me. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more EU teams pop up, and I'd like to see another British team to rival the Spitfire. I think that would be a really good rivalry. And like, London is not the whole of the UK, for God's sake, people.
I was going to say, especially if you put it somewhere like Manchester or Liverpool, then you would have the north-south like rivalry.
The Manchester, the Liverpool
I
and
mean,
Overwatch League.
Sheffield's pretty up there.
Yeah, but it's Sheffield.
I live 20 minutes away from Sheffield. Shut up.
I live 45.
Sheffield was the pride of British steel.
Yeah, Sheffield's actually a really nice.
I live 45 minutes from
Sheffield Steelers.
London.
Boom. Name.
Meadowhall. Meadowhall itself.
This is where they pick like a random town that no one's heard of that you can't actually pronounce the way that the name is spelt.
The Wellingborough Waterers. Let's go.
Loughborough. I'd love the American commentators to try and deal with the
Oh,
with
The
Loughborough.
Worcestershire Runners.
Oh no.
And London take the fight on them, but the Worcestershire.
Especially in American accents as well.
Yeah.
Can
Oh
you
god,
imagine?
yeah.
also, just because I'm going to put this in the chat, but how would you say that?
Habsburg?
Habsburg.
Habsburg.
Nope,
What is it?
that's Haysbury.
What?
Fucking hell.
I'm calling bullshit.
No, legitimately, that is a place not too far where my parents live in Norfolk. In Norfolk, they are very known to spell a place and go, you know what? Let's call it something different.
I'm putting this into Google Translate and auto detecting what comes up, and we'll see what language it fucking thinks it is.
I'd like to see a team from somewhere like Iceland.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I was thinking Sweden or Denmark, especially with how many players come out of there, would be really cool. Although we
Hawaii.
would lose
The
Hawaii.
team.
Hawaii needs their own
What's the
team.
cap-
And they
that's
don't
it.
get jerseys. It's just luau's and skirts.
Yeah, I'm moving to Hawaii. I'll
What's,
see you guys later.
the capital of
Honolulu, right?
no, not there.
Oh,
Yes,
fucking.
you are right.
The
I'd love to see a
Honolulu
Maori
Heretics.
Overwatch
Heretics.
team.
Honolulu Heretics.
What was that, Q?
I'd love to see a Maori Overwatch League team.
That'd be cool.
They can be endorsed, Maori or Samoan, and they can be endorsed by The Rock.
Some South American teams would be cool.
Yeah, that
I
would
mean-
be cool.
I think that it's just people wanting to invest the money. So what? 32 team league?
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Have it like contenders with all the regions.
That'd be cool. I think what we've all got in common is the fact that we want it to branch out
Yeah.
and be more representative on a global scale, as opposed to look at all these American teams. Look, there's Asian teams too.
Because
Oh,
of
there's
the
EU
EU.
as well.
There's two. There's one based in Britain. there's one in
I do
France.
feel
Ignore
like
them.
you look at it and stuff. Like Contenders is like pretty like vast in what it covers, and then you look at Overwatch League and it's just like, here are the American teams, here are the Asian teams, here's the
Yeah.
2 European teams that not many people actually care about, and then there's like the Australians going, here's my
Australian
wallaby.
contenders is its own thing and it's glorious.
It's that meme in the swimming pool.
the so there's two things though, but like there's a problem between the two layers of it, right? Like Overwatch League has such a fantastic model with the cities and like owning a license to be there, because like when I started watching the league, I gave no fucks about professional Overwatch. Like it was cool, I put the World Cup on every now and then in the background, but I couldn't have given less of a fuck about Rogue or Envy or whoever else. But the second it was like put into context of, well, they're playing for this, it suddenly had some stakes to it. And so I think it would be awesome to see contenders work by like where you're registered in is who you play for, and that's where you want to see, unless you're an academy team. And then it would be awesome to see that translate up into like, okay, well, these people played for X before, so they get an opportunity to play for X in the league if they graduate up to that level.
A bit like what Spitfire plans to do with Hurricane.
Yeah,
Spitfire.
exactly.
Because obviously, like,
And Boston.
I think
it's
Chengdu as well. Chengdu do it.
Yeah, and Shanghai as well with CC.
I mean, this comes down to very much the style that the league is ran. So Overwatch League in itself is a closed franchise system, which is a very American-styled way of doing sports.
It is quite
Whereas
expensive buying as well.
Absolutely. Whereas Contenders is a free-flowing kind of promotion relegation system going down to open division. You can have an open division team, and if you're good enough, you'll get into Contenders and play against...
Contenders is a lot fairer. There's a lot more opportunity in the way of Contenders.
But it's a lot more brutal as well. Like, it's a lot fairer, but the level of investment you've got to put in to potentially get fuck all out of it is a lot. Like,
I mean, we see it in English football. The difference in the Premier League and the 3 tiers lower than that, very similar to Overwatch League, is vast. Like, you get so much money for getting into the Premier League, and then you leave. Apart from the parachute payments, you're kind of screwed.
But also, like, not just in terms of like the quality of the games, because like the quality will shift with time, right? Like, there's some kind
it
of
will just increase.
Well, yeah, and there's a natural evolution there to some extent of like people will find their way out of each tier. I don't know why I keep pointing with this fucking thing. People will find their way out of each tier as their quality makes itself known. But like the standards of what a team has to have now is so much more than it was back in the day. Like, if you're a Contenders team, you need branding, you need graphics, you need the team, the coach, somebody to run the thing. You probably need somebody handling your socials. And that's stupid when, like, if they're lucky, they'll win $1 grand the whole year. Like, that's silly. So there needs to
really
be...
got to
I was going to say...
Sponsorship. It's the bread and butter of esports. For my essay, I actually looked at this. Sponsorship accounts for 76% of the entire esports industry revenue.
That's mental.
With like prize money, investment is nothing.
I was gonna say, you just kind of like look at it as like a whole and stuff, and it's like, wasn't it on Hurricane the only Contenders team that are actually getting at least paid in some way, shape, or form?
I wouldn't be surprised if the other academy teams had something in place. But in EU Contenders, that wouldn't surprise me.
I was going to say, because as far as I'm aware, at least in EU, Hurricane's the only one. I wouldn't surprise if maybe like Gen G or someone like that in like Korea or China.
Korea Contenders is its own beast, essentially. I think
Korean Contenders, I reckon those people are all getting paid. Like, they're appearing on stage and shit. Like,
their production is also... I mean, how Korea approaches esports is completely different to every other region at all, apart from maybe China now, with the investment China's putting in. But, I mean, Korea started 20 years ago. Everyone else is maybe still about 10 years behind.
Yeah.
At least.
But...
the other thing that all of Contenders and Overwatch League gets wrong is that Contenders Australia has the best sponsorship in McDonald's, and I suggest that we should all put... I've got a running joke with a friend who I've managed to get into the Overwatch League recently, where we'll watch Contenders while we're doing work in the day, and we'll send each other clips like, oh wow, that match was really spicy, almost as spicy as the newest spicy fries you'll find at your local fucking Macca's. So I reckon...
But no, it's the fact that, as she said, like Contender Australia has McDonald's as a sponsorship, but arguably Contender Australia is the biggest shit show in Contenders. Like, you watch it and it's just meme. It's just meme central. I mean, did you see the one where it was like a tour 1v1 on like the jump pad on?
I mean, like, let's be...
You call that a shit show?
Yeah, I was about to say, I just love... Imagine if that happened at like an actual like FA Cup final. Instead of having the players, it's going to be determined by the goalies having a 1v1. Like, imagine that, and that's essentially what has happened. But, I mean, without it... I mean, that's what makes esports great. The fact that occurs, and everyone goes, yep, oh yeah, that's some good quality there. That's good content.
Yeah.
But...
You had that in football... Everyone go, that's match
That would
fixing.
make football so much more exciting if they were like, fuck it, we're done with this. Anyone up for a game of FIFA Street? Like, I would watch.
Which is just like all the players walk off and goes to like the back alley of the stadium and just like...
One touch
Wasn't
keep-ups.
Wasn't it the All-Stars game where they literally said, right, everybody, don't do anything, Lucio 1v1?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. To be fair, I know this is a bit... I think competitive Overwatch could be improved by having... So we have the 4 major map types, right, for points 1, 2, 3, and 4. For maps 5, 6, and 7, have the other game modes. So have, like,
Lucio Ball.
the team 4v4 team deathmatch, capture the flag, because then... I want to see what professional teams would do with that. You've got 4
Can you
players. Who do you get
imagine?
rid of?
Can you imagine a tournament final coming down to a game of fucking tiny Overwatch?
No.
Holy shit.
imagine-
Oh, it's,
No.
it's a shame the Shock lost that map because now we're telling up Overwatch League 2021 with Doom Sumo.
No.
But
I
Overwatch has so many modes.
I've got better. No limit. No cooldowns in
Oh.
Hollywood.
Not today, Satan.
Run from the sun.
They go back. No, they go back to no limits, like how Overwatch was back in the day. So you have 6 Winstons starting.
6 Winstons
On
versus
King's
6
Row.
Bastions.
So, Squiddy, what was that one where you're Reinhardt, but you're not Reinhardt, you're a train?
Oh, run from Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck's sake.
I want that.
But yeah, I think competitive Overwatch. I know they're bringing in the new push map, but there's so many other modes I think they could use for tie breaks and stuff, rather than just the same maps.
It's even things like, if they didn't want to bring new map modes in, why can't we randomise the last game type? Why does it always have to be
I feel
control?
like as long as there's not an opportunity to draw it.
Yeah.
It'd be very, very rare that ever happen, though, wouldn't it?
Well, on hybrid happens more often than I think people think. 2CP, more or less, that's a draw central. Technically, you can draw an escort.
Yeah.
But that's
You
so
can
rare.
technically draw on like any map type. It
Apart
just like
from control.
Apart from, control is the only one. It cannot physically happen.
can you not
Yeah,
go?
even then, just keep going.
Yeah, you can.
But it goes to best of whatever.
It's either
King of
that
the
or
Hill.
if you do
Oh right. Yeah. No, you're right.
if you did control or whatever, it's like if it's like a 2-2 or like 3-3, 4-4 map series or whatever. Control will have to be like the team has to win 2 control maps in a row or like control rounds in a row.
Ooh, yeah.
Bit like
tennis.
tennis, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was going. But like you win like 2 control maps in a row, then it's like actually they should win this, rather than it's 2 finishes 2-1. You're like and all maps were 99-99. You're like But if
Can
it's
somebody do me a favour and clip Squiddy just going, ooh, like tennis?
Well, that's our
Use it on
first
our ChaosVoid soundboard.
That's our first TikTok sorted.
ooh tennis.
Oh, God.
Ooh, tennis.
I like tennis. To be fair, my favourite sport I like watching is curling. I fucking adore the
fuck
curling.
yes.
It's just
I'd love to have a go with curling. That'd be great fun.
it's just like you just see it like go down and go and sweep.
Yeah. I've got a tabletop set of curling.
Does it
It
come with
doesn't
tiny
work
little
in-
brushes that you have to like?
Yes, yes, it does.
That's
it comes with
awesome.
little brushes. I got it from Tiger. Tiger's the greatest
Fucking,
shot.
of course you did.
So, I'm the oldest person here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you nerds. Your winter sport of choice is curling.
No.
My winter
Yeah,
sport
actually,
of
yes,
choice.
yes, it is. Winter Olympics is on. I will 100% choose a curling every single time. I like the snowboarding with the tricks and shit. Bob says pretty cool as well.
You mean like the snowboard freestyle, yeah?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Whatever Sean White did.
The tricked and shit one. And then,
Bob says pretty good
what
as
did
well.
you win an Olympic medal in? Tricked and shit.
Yeah.
So, Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't believe I'm the oldest one when my preferences are things like Ice Cross Downhill, which is basically like an obstacle course on hockey skates. It is brutal. And ice hockey.
I was gonna
and
say, I
freestyle
was gonna
snowboarding.
say,
Skating is
And you
fucking
guys are
terrifying
into
as well.
curling.
my
What's okay?
my
what's
go-to
your Summer
watch
Olympic?
is ice hockey. But
I love ice hockey.
that's because I do quite like the Canadians. So
Have you,
because the English.
Kiwi, have you ever been to a Steelers game?
I haven't yet, but we're planning on going this year.
So we
Steelers?
Sheffield Steelers, the ice hockey team.
So
So
ice
I was
hockey
thinking
team.
Pittsburgh. I was like, what?
I took my better half to see the Nottingham Panthers versus the Sheffield Steelers before pandemic hit. And I wasn't convinced, but it was fucking amazing. It was a great time. Really good time.
How is ice hockey in the UK? Because
You can go ice skating in the UK.
But yeah, I meant from a fan's point of view. Was it a packed stadium?
Yeah. Pretty busy. I wouldn't say it was like sold out, but it was pretty close.
I was gonna say,
It's because it's
Refreshments?
brutal.
Can you drink?
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. I had 6 beers. It was fucking great.
Oh, okay. Yep. I'm sold. 'Cause that's I mean, I understand why football fans can't drink on the stands and the stadiums. I've worked in the stadiums enough to know
Wait, you can?
in the concourse, but not out on the actual where you would sit. You can't drink alcohol.
I was gonna say, I've got a cane puck from Canada,
I used
that's
to
it.
work at a football club as well, and I'm sure you could as long as it was a plastic cup.
unless if
Oh, they're all plastic cups, but you can only drink alcohol in the concourse, but not in
I think
within
you can
the
you can eat and drink non-alcoholic, but you can't because I think
and everything's plastic to make sure no one gets hurt if
Yeah.
you're chucking a glass bottle.
I'm pretty sure you could hurt someone with a plastic cup if you wanted to.
You can't even give people lids.
Yeah. To be fair, I had glass bottles, but that's because I worked in the players' lounge. So it was like the players and their families.
I accidentally went into a player's lounge once, trying to work my. And I was trying to work my way around the stadium. I had to go round to all the
course
tills
you
and
were.
collect the money. And I accidentally ended up in the players' lounge, going, "Oh, I'm not meant to be here," and just turned around.
Closing the door
I
like,
got
I've
told
seen
off.
everything.
It's just that
I got told off by Louis Tomlinson's bodyguard.
Wow.
Why?
For doing my job. And anyone who knows me knows how bullshit this is, because I have never in my life given a shit about One Direction. I never will. And
I don't believe this.
I'd come out of the players' lounge to go to the toilet. Bear in mind I had my uniform on. And then as I came back, I didn't even think about security or anything like that, because I was like, well, my job's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked back in, I put my hand on the door, and I was about to push the door open, and this massive, like, hand on my shoulder, and I was like... And this guy was like, "You're not allowed in there." I was like, "Well, yeah, I am." And he was like, "No, I'm like Louis Tomlinson's bodyguard. Louis Tomlinson's in there. General public aren't allowed in there." I was like, "I'm not the general public. I work here. I literally left that room for a pee 5 minutes ago, and I literally had to go get my shift manager, come back." Just for him.
So he
to
let
go.
you. So he let you in anyway to get your manager.
No, because my manager, I worked in there a lot. Whoever worked in there was on their own.
Ah,
I had
okay.
to go to the main bar at the other end of the stadium to get my shift manager to walk all the way back just for him to go, "She works here." I was like,
God's sake.
I don't give a shit if Louis Tomlinson's in there. I could not care less. Can I go do my job, please?
Who's the
Your
biggest
songs
celebrity you
are
saw
shit.
in there?
Yeah.
Who's
Who's
the
the what?
biggest celebrity you saw working in that players' lounge? If you worked it often.
me.
The one that I remember the most, because he kicked up the biggest fuss, was probably Louis Tomlinson.
Oh wow!
Because, well, I worked at Doncaster Rovers, and he's from Doncaster, so you can imagine I'm sure he filmed a music video with BB Rexa there as well. So yeah, obviously, being from Doncaster and being part of fucking One Direction, everyone went mad for him. But You just made my day significantly shittier.
What's the coolest and worst celeb interactions the rest of you have had? Squid, Callan.
You've replied, I've met people. You replied, I leave this room.
You might have
I was gonna say,
pre-pandemic.
What are we classing as celebs? Because I've met people from Rooster Teeth.
That's sick. Tell us about that.
I met Matt Hullum and Bernie Burns.
Oh, nice. Were you? Did you meet them?
RTX 2016. Well, 2017 was it? The first one they held in London.
Was it the first and only one, or were there two?
There were two. I went to both. The
you
first
were
one.
at the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a good weekend.
I may have seen you. I just didn't know.
Yeah, we were to become distant friends at some point, but
But yeah, so first RTX, I had tickets to see, or the ticket thing to see Bernie Burns and Matt, and then also Kovic and Bruce from Funhouse. And they Kovic signed my PS1.
It's a bit awkward now, I guess.
It is a bit
Aged
awkward
well.
now.
Yeah,
I mean, at least it's not a nonce,
true.
but
True.
you know, that's the only thing going for it.
Yeah,
Really.
it's not a high bar.
And it's so
PlayStation
bad
1
that that's
console.
a fucking bar. That's
PlayStation
the bar.
PlayStation 1 console signed, not by a nonce.
I met Vic at a Comic-Con. I can't pronounce his surname, but he's the voice of Broly in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, that's cool.
And I got a selfie with him, and he signed a picture for me. And then like weeks after that, it came out that he was a sex pest, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Never mind.
Never meet your kid. Never meet your heroes, kids.
It wasn't my
There'll
hero.
be
It was really nice
nonces.
to meet him. But I think one of the best people I've ever met. Are there any wrestling fans?
I've known
No.
a tiny bit.
Wrong
But
ground.
Oh, I love wrestling. Best person I've ever met. Anyone watch Vikings?
Oh yeah, I have watched that. To be fair.
Yeah. I met Edge. I've met Edge, Christian, and Beth Phoenix, and meeting Edge, I basically melted into a pile of goop. And I met him dressed as Edward Kenway. I was dressed as Edward Kenway, which made it even funnier. And yeah, I've got a picture of that as well. That was really cool.
Can you send me to them so I can put it on the podcast?
I'll link you to the pictures.
Thank
I
you.
don't know the actor's name. I forgot his name now, but the guy who plays Vibe in The Flash.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Is his first name Carlos?
Hang
I
on.
need to find that.
Time to Google.
I've just remembered that I've actually met a couple of like celebrities and stuff, but I've chose to like stuff out.
Yeah, Carlos Valdez.
Yes, I've met him.
Are they bad celebrities, or are you just like particularly fame PTSD?
Oh no, I don't care. Typically, when it comes to people and stuff, I don't care if you're famous or not. I tend to like, if I meet someone and if I've got no lasting impressions of them, it's kind of like bonk.
I've seen Richard Osman at a train station.
That's awesome.
I've been
That's really cool.
I've been passed by Warwick Davis on a Segway.
That's
Oh, that's number one so far.
Also, because I used to work in a hotel and stuff, we had the whole of DIY SOS Day at our hotel. So I
Pretty cool.
and I had to wake up Nick Knowles at 4 o'clock in the morning, and literally it's just like, do I? Just like, what do I say? Just like, morning.
What do you normally do? What's it? It's like, good morning, Nick Knowles. This is your hotel wake-up call. Please get up. We need you to create some more fabulous content in the form of
Pretty much.
whatever the fuck it DIY OSOS.
These walls won't knock themselves in.
What else does he do? He does
Tool station
And-
adverts.
midday show where like early morning BBC One, where people are like scam people.
Oh yeah, Rogue Traders.
That's it.
Yeah,
there
he
we
did that
are.
for a bit.
And then the lottery. He's done a lot of the lottery
I
stuff.
I met Darren Brown and told him how he did one of his tricks, which then since I've read his autobiography and it turns out he fucking hates when people do that. So sorry, Darren, I'm a massive fan. I thought I was being really smart, and it turns out he knows.
What trick?
So he did a big trick where he. Have you ever seen any of his like live stuff when they show it on Channel 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the show was called Enigma, and the end of it was that each of the ENIGMA stood for something, and he had pre-prepared clips of, look, it's an egg and Namibia and ice caps. But the last bit was like, and who's your favourite band? McFly! But he'd like peppered it into the stage announcements for the theatre. So it was like, if you could please make your way to the stage and something else. And they got the word fly in there somehow. And there was a very, very quiet beforehand that if you picked up on, you would have heard. But if you didn't, it might have implanted the idea of McFly.
Oh, so basically like subliminal messaging.
Kind of.
That's most of his stuff, though. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a lot of kind of cold reading and idea input. But I told him how he did that, and it turns out that's a really bad thing to do. But he was a lovely, lovely man. And then I also heard Colin Baker tell a subway worker to go fuck themselves, which was quite fun.
Why?
It was behind the scenes at a place that I won't name because they gave me passes, which was very nice. Please give me more. And it was in the green room, and there were a couple of people in there, and he was being prepared to go out on stage and do some interviews and stuff. And at this venue, they have like subway kiosks all around the place that like you can, if you've ever been to a conference, you know what I'm talking about, like little portable subway kiosks. And so they bought like, what do you call them? The pallets of half sandwiches that you can, like catering packs. And so they had Subway come and deliver these catering packs around the green room every sort of half an hour to make sure everyone was topped up. And this poor Subway worker delivered a vegetable Subway platter around this event and offered him a sandwich, and he went, "No meat? Then I say go and fuck yourself."
Yes! Scuddy, was it you that was a fan of Outside Xbox?
Oh no, that's me.
Is that you? I've met Luke from Outside Xbox. He was really, really nice.
That's
Although
awesome.
you don't realise how friggin' tall he is until you're like a 5-foot girl looking up at him like, scary. And my nan used to work in a hotel in Sheffield, and she met the old Liverpool squad. She got some shorts signed by John Barnes. And she used to like iron their shirts in their room while they were just lounging on the bed and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I've met Robbie Fowler. I got a signed t-shirt from Robbie Fowler when I was little. But I was too little to appreciate it.
But you know what I was saying about DOISOS? They went down to one of the local pubs, and there's clips and stuff that went on like local like newspaper website and stuff like that of Billy Byrne and that lot singing at 1 o'clock in the morning, absolutely fucking plastered. And then they came back to the hotel, and they're like, and I can remember Billy, he came along and he went, "I need some fucking help." So I ended up literally having Billy's arm, like, I was on like one side of Billy, and then you had the, is it Chris? On the other side, and we were basically having to carry Billy to his room.
Amazing. I've got another celebrity story, but I can't share it on a public podcast, so we'll record it. We'll record it afterwards, and if we ever do open a Patreon, that'll be. I've got some juicy gadget show news, is all I'll say.
Oh, I like the gadget show.
Juicy gossip.
I've also met
the most. You go, Sheldini.
Hands.
I've also met. I don't know if you know the author Derek Landy.
I do know.
He wrote Skullduggery Pleasant.
That's it. Yeah.
He wrote that series and stuff, and he's come. He stays near enough the hotel right nearby. It's about once every 6 months.
Awesome.
And stuff. So I've met him a few times. Got his autograph. Tends to get a lot of Domino's pizza.
Ooh, pizzas be good. The most famous third-party experience in my family. is my great aunt used to push Patrick Stewart as a baby.
Oh my
What
God, yeah.
the fuck? That's really good.
I love it.
Told ya.
That tops being passed on by Warwick Davis on a Segway.
My godmother drove the Pope around for a week.
Whoa!
Yes.
My
That's
godmother's
amazing.
like a fairly senior nun, and
Oh my
she
God, I
drove
love
the
it.
Pope around Ireland for a bit.
I'm going to use that as a very nice segue. Have you heard of a game called I Am Jesus Christ?
Yes, I have.
No idea.
I think with that it is time to check in on our, what would you call them? Fantasy game developers?
Yeah, our fantasy game draft. So basically, we set up a couple of episodes of Fantasy Game Studio. We set ourselves up with names, and we pick games that are coming out this year that we would like to fantasy publish. The idea being that if we publish them and they do particularly well in like Metacritic-y things, we get more money. If we publish them and they're total fucking flops, we get less. So we have picked games throughout the weeks and months, and we're sort of keeping up to date. So far, Squiddy with Big Dick Productions is well and truly
Winning.
in the lead.
I
With
can't believe this.
Only because 3 of my games have released, and these 2 have got 0 games that have been released in them. But I have dropped GT7 and I Am Jesus Christ.
I can't believe you
From
dropped time,
sad.
Jesus Christ.
It's fine. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna look on the sites available to me to see what is a big upcoming game that could do well to make sure I sustain my win. Retromania Wrestling did not do well for me,
I
however.
was gonna say I'm just here as like a casual spectator.
You've not got a lot of games on your list, Cam.
Well, yeah, so my thinking is that I have added one today, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a good pick. And
Is it Boyfriend Dungeon?
Ooh.
Sorry. No, don't tell them about that one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, so my thinking is I think E3 is going to be really big this year. I've been chatting to some friends about it, and I reckon we're in for some sneaky...
When is E3?
It is June. It's usually the first week and a half of June. Are you thinking about content?
No, I just like watching it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's usually like June
It's Christmas.
9th or 10th. It's June 12th. June 12th and 15th. And we've already got confirmation that Nintendo, Xbox, but no, not Bethesda because they're Xbox now. Ubisoft and Square are doing E3 conferences, so I think it's going to be a fairly big event again this year.
Xbox are back with one. Didn't they go away from one?
Well, they always used to be at E3, but they also did their own additional conference that was just at the same time as E3. So I think like they've announced an E3 conference, whether it's like in the place or not. But I think it's going to be good, so I'm saving some space for some games that I think will be announced there, which will be interesting. I also get the feeling Beyond Good and Evil is not coming out this year and is going to hard screw me. But, you know, them's the risks you
drop
take.
it.
Is
I
it
could.
ever going to come out?
I hope so. It looks amazing.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Great Queens
I'm
of the
still
Stone
waiting
Age.
on Far Cry 6 news.
Oh, yeah. That was supposed to be out like months ago.
It was meant to come out February.
Oh really? Wow, that's that.
But
yeah,
I
that's
do
a bit
suspect
far
that obviously
away.
COVID and stuff has probably pushed back some of the probably with a
That's
lot of
right.
games.
Oh, yeah.
Psychonauts will be fine.
There's been a lot of rumours as well about stuff like Assassin's Creed being pushed back an extra year and this, that, the other. So
I think
Interesting
Assassin's
time.
Creed should go. How big they're making their games, probably every 2 to 3 years, will probably be better for that studio.
yeah, I agree. I also think I like the idea of them doing phases. Like I like that we had the Ezio phase. I like that we've had this kind of slightly bland middle RPG phase, and now I hope they go on to do something different and cool again. The rumours are that they aren't, but it would be cool if they did.
I loved it when they had a series, so like the Ezio trilogy. You got invested in it more. It made you want the next game more, as opposed to just who am I going to be playing as this time.
Yeah.
But there is there's an email you can read in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and this has a list of, I can't remember how they worded it in this email, but basically the locations / time periods in this email, it looks like it was an Easter egg to upcoming games.
Ooh.
And this was back when Black Flag got released. Because one of them, I'm sure one of them was Odyssey and one of them was Origins. And there was another, I think they were looking at Feudal Japan, which I would love as an Assassin's Creed game, although I feel like we're not going to get that. But yeah, they need to stop being like, here's a new assassin, here's another new assassin. Like, let us get to know them and have some time with them first.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of
I'm
God.
going to put my hand up. I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Squiddy, I will accept questions.
Yeah.
from you at this point.
I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but do you know Ubisoft have a brain trust thing where people try and predict what the world's going to be like in 5 years' time?
That's fascinating.
I
did
was
not know
listening
that.
to Play, Watch, Listen, full of industry professionals, and they were saying that Ubisoft, they have this brain trust to try and work out what the world will be like in 5 years' time, so they know by the time they've developed the game, which takes 3 to 4 years typically, they are ready for whatever that world is going to be. That's why Watch Dogs, the new one, is set in this post whatever London, even though they started development of that in 2015.
Fascinating.
That's really cool.
Can you imagine the fucking big brain dude 5 years ago who's like, I feel like a pandemic.
Just feel like rebellion's pandemic.
Essentially,
The guys at Ubisoft all looking at that guy now going, it was you.
did they
It
know?
was you.
Because everyone sat around a table and one guy's just like, I predict that there's going to be a major rise in police brutality over the next 5 years. Little did they know.
But yeah, so Ubisoft has the keys to help us for the future, but they use it for game development more than anything.
They use their gifts for evil.
The evil
Hang on, I
within.
jumped that the wrong way
Right.
round. Hang on, here we are.
There we go.
Is the evil within 3 a thing?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because I feel like the evil within, I worked at Game when the first one came out. The evil within the first
Wait, that's
one
coming out this.
was incredible.
Apparently,
And it had a really... It's coming out when, sorry?
apparently, Evil Within 3 is apparently in the works. Apparently.
Oh, God. I was going to say, the first one had a really, really strong premise, and it was really, really good, and it had really unique elements to it. But then the second one rolled around, and it just fell really flat, and it fell victim to that curse where a game just lasts too long. And it was like every time you think you'd finished, there was more. And it just wasn't necessary, and it just felt tacked on. So it's like, I really don't think they should do an Evil Within 3, or they should leave it a very long time before bringing out a third one. But by the sounds of it, that is not happening.
Well, so the studio that made The Evil Within is making Ghostwire Tokyo at the minute, but it's fair to assume that is closer to done than not, because I think it's one of the ones that's got the exclusivity with PlayStation deal, right? It was that and Deathloop.
I was going to say it's apparently very close to being released, but there was also the fact that they were hiring people and stuff within the last year, which kind of hints that they're looking at a new project.
Me and you both clicked on that same first Google result.
Yes!
On Reddit, right? Yes, my dude.
It's published by Bethesda.
Yeah, Tango
Ghostwire
Games.
Tokyo.
Yeah, so it's one of
And
the two
it's-
games that Xbox said they'd have to respect when they bought Bethesda out. They'll have to respect the.
No, it's been released on. It's on Xbox and Windows. There's just a time delay.
Yeah, it's a 12-month thing for both of them.
Ugh.
But
That happened with the most recent Call of Duty. PS4, PlayStation had a specific zombie mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a year.
they're brutal with
Tomb
it.
Raider
entire
did it
year.
as well.
And it didn't. What is even that game? That zombie mode? Because I've never seen
It
anything
wasn't
on
great.
it. I
wasn't
just
great. Just leave it there.
Oh, because I've just done regular. Regular.
I was going to say when
zombies is
Xbox had
enough.
to deal with COD, it was a month, wasn't it? Especially with like Modern Warfare 3 and stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
they had like the 1v1 maps and stuff like that about a month before. I think Terminal was about 2 months. They had 2 months exclusivity on it.
The worst thing.
12 months is such
But
a long time.
PlayStation
'Cause by that time,
do really go, by the way, we've got you for a year.
I mean, Xbox have done it as well. Xbox had the Rise of the Tomb Raider for a year.
Yeah, before it came to PlayStation.
But PlayStation seemed to do one every year. Like they have Deathloop in Tokyo this year. They had Crash Insane Trilogy the year before that. They had Fall Guys in years previously. They had Rocket League got pretty massive, and they had some kind of exclusivity with that for about a year. So yeah, they're pretty well versed in doing that stuff.
Sony are really smart with their exclusivity deals.
Brutal with them
I
as
think
well.
Rocket League is probably one of their better ones, because that is
I mean,
such a good game.
oh yeah, massively.
And now it's free to play, unfortunately through Epic.
Which isn't so epic.
Yeah. Was
I'm
it
done.
concurrent
Crash
is
as
$1 million?
well,
Concurrent's about $1 million for Rocket League.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about 1 point, like, especially when new patches release and stuff, you're looking at about 2 million players at any given time.
Oh,
So
God,
trying to
that's-
get into like the tournament modes and stuff that they have is like you have to enter as soon as the tournament like appears, otherwise you don't get in. Because
Yeah.
I've tried
That's insane.
so many times to get into tournaments, it will
Only
load
Overwatch had
for
that
about
problem.
10 minutes and it'll be like, by the way, you haven't got in, and you're like, I clicked the second it appeared. How have I not got in? I have to admit though, the servers, they haven't done much about the servers. The servers are still a bit janky though.
Gotta get more microtransaction money.
I mean, they've got.
But I think that's a
To
talk for
be
another
fair,
time.
Rocket
I
League
think,
have
'cause-
recently got a deal with Lamborghini.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was a bit weird, but yeah, I think microtransactions. That's something for another day.
I'd love
Yeah.
That's
a.
another video entirely.
Oh yeah, massively. I would love a Formula One Rocket League crossover.
Yes,
That'd
there
be
is. That's also coming.
Is there actually?
It's
Ooh.
Yeah.
Formula One and NASCAR come in May.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, we'll see then. All right, let's wrap this up. I've got a random game. I have it in front of
Oh,
me.
let's end this episode first, and then do the 20 questions.
Oh yeah.
So-
Okay. We're starting to be more sensible, aren't we?
Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Do we actually have an outro apart from fuck off?
Do
We
we?
normally say bye nerds or something like that, but yeah, we don't technically have an outro.
Well, so do we need? So firstly, do we need to use our new social things that we spent fucking?
Oh my god, yes,
Actually-
actually, we should.
we joked about this.
Fucking spent an entire Saturday setting up fucking usernames, and we're just gonna be like, fuck off. All right. You can find us on all of the socials, and we mean literally all of the socials. Like, frankly, if you've got a Bebo, we're
Bebo.
probably fucking on it. So you can find us
Same
at
brain
everywhere.
cells.
That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Reddit. If your grandma still uses Habbo Hotel, we'll be on there. All of the places. We are Chaos Void. And we've got some exciting stuff coming up for you in the very, 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 very near future. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your mouse in your hands, and fuck off, nerds.
Bye.
Bye.